Liverpool came to this match only 1 point ahead of Manchester United, but with a game in hand. And a victory is what Liverpool required, and the huge crowd at Selhurst Park knew it.
Is this the team that will win the Football League Championship of 1980? Liverpool led by their skipper Phil Thompson. Or is this the side that will keep Liverpool waiting a little longer? Crystal Palace with Jim Cannon. Palace coming out to salute their supporters, their last home league game of the season, their first back into the First Division. They finish in a mid-table position, consolidating nicely, but face a formidable task today. So a full house at Selhurst Park as the First Division season reaches its climax, and a ground where the Liverpool manager Bob Paisley says that if pressed, he would rather win here today than at Villa Park in the Cup replay against Arsenal on Monday. A win for Liverpool, particularly if Manchester United slip up, almost certainly means the title stays on Merseyside. But Liverpool again travel without Terry McDermott and Jimmy Case in their side. They play for Liverpool's reserves today and seem likely to be available for the Arsenal game on Monday. Sammy Lee and David Fairclough continue in the team, and they are able to bring back fullback Alan Kennedy after injury, with the Israeli international Avi Cohen as their substitute. And for Crystal Palace, before they start to kick in, the player of their year is the defender Paul Hinshelwood, being roundly supported by his teammates and the fans alike. So quite a day for Paul Hinshelwood. Palace, meanwhile, are without Kenny Sansom, suspended after being sent off last week, and his place goes to Terry Fenwick. Palace have won only one of their last 8 games, but it would certainly be a good way to sign off in front of their own supporters their last league game of the season at Selhurst Park, with Liverpool's scalp today. The referee today is John Martin of Alton in Hampshire. Well, there's no shortage of Liverpool fans in the crowd, willing their side to make sure of the championship here today if they possibly can. Liverpool in the all-red strip, attacking the goal to our left. Palace in that all-white strip with the diagonal stripes. Palace, who seemed to be going great guns earlier in the season, and then they came up against Liverpool at Anfield in December and lost 3-0, which I suspect taught them a few things about themselves, but it hasn't been a bad first season back for them. But Liverpool playing their 56th game of the season and show no signs whatsoever of wilting. Here's Francis, though, to Hilaire. Well, if there are a few Liverpool fans here, judging by the noise, there's a fairly big contingent of Palace fans as well. The ball from Kennedy going out of play. It's a throw to Crystal Palace. Liverpool fans up behind this goal here, but it's Jim Cannon now for Palace. Towards Hilaire, Kennedy beaten in the air that time, and Hansen turning, holding off Flanagan, or rather Walsh. Flanagan now, beaten though by Souness. Cannon in with the header. Phil Neal in for Kenny Dalglish. Souness in quickly and finding Hansen. A few specks of rain about lunchtime may have quickened the surface a little bit, and there's a lovely pass from Kennedy now for Fairclough, flicked in there with the outside and pushed away well by Burridge. A lovely little flick by Fairclough with the outside of his boot, and Neal battling away there, and back it goes to Burridge, and Burridge really had to be at his best there. A lovely ball from Kennedy, and what a superb little flick in there by Fairclough, really causing Burridge to stretch. Steve Highway in the centre with Joe Fagan on the right and Avi Cohen, the Israeli, on the left, the substitute. Flanagan turning it off for Murphy, given straight to Phil Neal, to the howls of disapproval from the Palace supporters. Peter Nicholas, a touch on there for Murphy, touch back again for Nicholas. He really tried to get it between those two red-shirted players out to Hilaire on the far side. Instead, it's David Fairclough. And that's a corner off Jim Cannon. It's a throw, in fact, and it's with Neil, and Phil Thompson gone up for it, though. Kennedy with a shot, and John Burridge again with a save. Good shot then by Alan Kennedy. And a good jump there by Walsh. Flanagan on his way. Well, I must say, both sides are making a few chances. It's just at the moment that the forwards on either side are not snapping them up, and saw Ray Clements there a little worried at the way Flanagan was allowed to get through. Bob Paisley with his chairman John Smith alongside him, knowing that that championship is one good win and maybe a draw away from coming back to Merseyside, looking for that win today. And certainly Liverpool in this opening 18 minutes or so have looked very positive indeed in what they intend to do today. Walsh. Play for Hilaire, play back again, this time for Flanagan, onto the left foot and over the top. Well, that was a lovely break, played it nicely there for Flanagan. Flanagan up again, beaten by Hansen in the air. Jerry Francis following it in for Palace. Nicholas tangling there with Dalglish. Free kick. And soon he's not happy with the decision. A free kick to Palace then. Hinchelwood. Hit high towards Walsh. Beating Kennedy in the air. Flanagan's in there. Walsh is in there. And Clements had to make a save down by the post. And Palace so nearly nosing themselves in front again. I think it was a good reaction save there by Ray Clements. Right down by the post there from Ian Walsh. Off on his way, but he hustled Neil, but well, they got a throw, Crystal Palace, through the sheer persistence of Tony Flanagan, of Big Flanagan. And here comes the cross again from Crystal Palace. Walsh is there with the header. Oh, a nice little touch by Hilaire. Oh, and a lovely little touch by Nicholas for Hilaire again on the far side. Flanagan once more. And they just couldn't get it in. And Liverpool breathe again as Sammy Lee takes it away. Fairclough now on the far side. But there was a foul by Johnson on Gilbert. A free kick to Crystal Palace. Well, there's plenty for the England manager Ron Greenwood in the centre there to admire today, and plenty of England potential for him here to watch. Flanagan quickly away from his marker to take possession there, but then loses it as Phil Neal plays it forward. Stopped nicely there by Nicholas, and now Flanagan again. Played in first time, that's Ray Clements' ball. And the long kick, Johnson now after it. Now, can Johnson make something out of this? No. Walsh. Well, Thompson waiting for that one to come to him. And the shot! Well, that caused Clements more trouble than it seemed likely, because Walsh hit that really quite firmly. Clements across his goal, gathering it up, and then getting it at the second goal. Cannon. Nicholas. Cannon. Oh, nice touch by Flanagan again for Murphy, and now for Murphy, and now for Walsh, charge down there. With the little ball by Walsh to Flanagan, that time charged down by Phil Neal, and Palace looking quite lively and sprightly up 2 shots charged down, and they get a corner, which Jerry Francis will take. It's with Vince Hilaire. For a chance to play it in, but in fact has to play it to Jerry Francis in the end. Nicholas playing it in there once more. Paul Hinshelwood right in there. That was quite a brave header there by Hansen. Lee playing it forward again. Johnson off in chase. Will he get to it? He won't. Gilbert, Peter Nicholas, Paul Hinshelwood, stopped by Graham Souness, and here's Kenny Dalglish. David Johnson after this one. John Burridge is out. That was handball outside the penalty area. That's a yellow card, which I think is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And that's where there's something wrong with the laws in the game, or at least the way they're interpreted. Burridge came out, his intention was to grab the ball inside the box, the ball held up a little bit. What was he supposed to do? He either had to handle it or let Liverpool go through. And playing to the letter of the law, presumably an instruction, the referee has given him the yellow card. What it does mean, it's a free kick for Liverpool right on the edge of that penalty area, right at the end of the first half, as it comes through to Sammy Lee, driving it well wide of that Crystal Palace goal. To the letter of the law there, or his instructions, did referee John Martin. In fact, I wonder whether John Burridge realised whether he was inside or outside the box. That's how close it was. And whatever it was purely the instinctive reactions of a competitive man. Half-time whistle, and what a brilliant first half it's been. Without goals, but with some scintillating football from both sides. Liverpool so positive in everything they've done. Mike Flanagan, in fact, so lively, and Crystal Palace proving that in their first season back in the First Division, they come to the end of their season, that they are well worthy of being on the same pitch as the very best. They've contributed so much as well. But a half-time score then here at Selhurst Park. It's Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 0, and we'll be back with the second half. Welcome back to Selhurst Park as we await the start of this second half. 0-0 the score between Crystal Palace and Liverpool. And away we go then. It's Flanagan finding Hilaire. Can Murphy do it? Murphy going on the outside of Alan Kennedy, but Dalglish is there doing a good covering job, but Hinshelwood trying from another angle. Hoping to get in a shot, but was really crowded out. 2, 4, 6, 8 red shirts back there, plus Ray Clements. At the first sign of danger, Cannon now running it wide here for Gilbert. Forward again towards Walsh, but that's a throw to Liverpool. Ball from Souness. No penalty, but there certainly seemed to have been, well, it certainly seemed to be worth something. Whether it was inside the penalty area or not is hard to say, but Hilaire seemed to be brought down there. Free kick to Liverpool. Sammy Lee with the throw for Liverpool. Now David Johnson. Oh, good piece of play by Johnson. And a good save by Burridge, but can he complete it? He can. Now Kennedy looking for a chance to whack it back in there again, and Cannon gets it away. It's with Kennedy, and an offside, which gives us a chance again to look at that lovely piece of skill over his head by David Johnson, and suddenly he was clear, a thundering shot which Burridge managed to push up into the area. The question was whether he'd be able to recover and complete the save, but he did. And certainly Liverpool looked much meaner at the back in the first half than they did in the second. They were in the second half than they did in the first. There were times in that first half when they looked amazingly generous by their standards, but they've tightened up a lot. The midfield men seem to be getting back deeper than they did in the first half. And Palace, whose scoring record is not good, are really going to struggle to find a way through. But Murphy with a shot, and that wasn't far away. Goal kick. Kennedy to Ray Kennedy. Fairclough outside him. Johnson on to this far side, Fenwick getting the interception in. Fairclough turning it in once more toward David Johnson, turning it back there for Lee. Hit a glorious shot there, but it was just going that little bit too high. Little Sammy Lee had to take it quickly, but it was a good knock down there by Johnson, well aware of what Lee's position was. It's Jerry Murphy who's coming off. Terry Boyle who comes on. Souness. Now Neal. Now Lee. And now Fairclough. And now a corner. Well, 20 minutes remaining now. And a corner to Liverpool to be taken by Sammy Lee. A very deep one there towards Alan Hansen. Got up well, and Peter Nicholas getting it away for another corner, which I think Kenny Dalglish will take. So Dalglish with the corner, floated towards the near post there. Johnson's backward header. Got a smack in the back of the head too, by the look of it. Goal kick. Gilbert, ball forward, straight to Clements. Kennedy, a long ball forward, and he's onside, Fairclough. There couldn't have been much in that, though. And Burridge came out quickly, flapped away on the edge of that penalty area, but the real question, I think, in Palace fans' mind is, was Fairclough offside? Burridge making his save. Now it's Johnson. It's worth bearing in mind too that if Burridge, in making that save, had handled just outside the penalty area again, as he did at the end of the first half, and got a yellow card for it, he'd have been sent off. Which I think again says something about that particular attitude to our laws of the game. And now Francis. He found a nice little bit of space there. And nearly got the pass back from Walsh. Oh, and while Sammy Lee was waiting, Fenwick was in there. Here's Flanagan. And Alan Kennedy holding him off well. And then, oh, they got themselves in a tangle again. And Fenwick's right in there, and in the end it was Hansen who got that one away. And for the first time in the second half, there was just that moment of uncertainty and indecision in the Liverpool defence. It's Francis with the throw for Palace. Cannon. And that's a Liverpool throw. And we're in the last seconds of the game now. In fact, the referee looking at both linesmen to see whether they feel the 90 minutes is up. Certainly at the start of this week, people were saying that, well, maybe this would see the week when Bob Paisley's men began to slip with 2 away games at Stoke and at Crystal Palace. They won at Stoke. They've got a point here, it seems, at Crystal Palace. And the championship is still very much within their grasp as the final whistle goes here. In fact, Bob Paisley there getting some congratulations. And I noticed that Phil Thompson had a fist raised in the arm because they're raised in the air, feeling that that draw was worth an awful lot to them. The one thing they didn't want was defeat. In the second half, it really never looked like happening to them. They defended so well. And, in fact, really 2 faces of Liverpool. They were a bit adventurous in the first half. They took a few risks. They tightened up in the second half. And in the end, stifled the life out of Crystal Palace. And the final scoreline then here at Selhurst Park. It's Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 0.
Well, so while Liverpool were getting that draw, Manchester United were beating Coventry 2-1, and it means that at the top of the table they're now level on points, and as you can see, Liverpool have a game in hand and a better goal difference, which has now become worth another point to them. And the matches to come: Liverpool at home to Aston Villa next Saturday, and then away to Middlesbrough, and Manchester United next Saturday away to Leeds. It means, of course, that next week a victory to Liverpool would be certain to give them the championship. And that would mean another success for their likeable manager, Bob Paisley. A good week for Liverpool, really. 3 points from 2 away games.
Yes, yes. Now we've got it all to do. We've got a home game, and we've got to try and get the 2 points to clinch it. And we'll have to battle for those, but I'm delighted with that point. It'll take a little bit of pressure off. Yes.
It's a good place if you're going to win the championship, to win it in front of your own folk, I suppose.
Yes, and I'd like to. We won it last year when we played Aston Villa on my 40th anniversary. I'd like to win it on my 41st.
I think a lot of people would like to see you do it, except the Manchester United fans, of course. But they've also pushed you very hard, haven't they?
They've fought well, and which was always there. You knew the type of team that they had, and when teams get a run of of success, and they keep going, they get confident, the confidence grows, and then you've got a fight on your hands.
You were talking about the tension. It's hard to think of an old campaigner like yourself having tension still, but Joe Fagan, I know, still got a bad neck. He's getting all tense about it. I mean, does it really hit you when you sit up there in the stand and we see you looking so placid? If
you're worth your salt in this game, you've got to feel for the game, and it doesn't matter what it is. If I went to 85, I would still feel for the game, and that while I'm in it. If I didn't feel like that, I would pack in. But while I feel for the game, and I feel that we've got to win, and that, and I've not had any championship medals. I've only had 7, but I would like another one.
Yeah, exactly. But what's the situation now with Terry McDermott and Jimmy Case with
well,
regard to the Arsenal game on Monday?
They've won 2-0 up at Anfield, and from Terry's point of view, I think everything's gone well in that. And I would be looking to have Terry out and that, with the type of injury that he had, and then when he said he was clear, I was prepared to give him a game here today. But he didn't want to let the lads down. He knew the importance of the game, and he wanted that. But I'll see what they are when I get back. With Roy Evans will tell us how they've fared, and we'll take it from there.
Well, Liverpool then, apparently with no injuries to report, and McDermott and Case, it seems, available again. And the Arsenal manager Terry Neal announcing that his team are all fit after their draw against West Bromwich Albion yesterday. Now they meet again, of course, at Villa Park in that Cup semi-final replay tomorrow night. Talking a moment ago about Bob Paisley and cup ties, and Mervyn Burglass, who's running a national collectors exhibition from May the 3rd to the 5th at the new Kensington Town Hall, has sent me a copy of the 1950 Arsenal versus Liverpool FA Cup final programme at Wembley. And there, if we can see it there, at number 6 in the Liverpool side, in fact, is R. Paisley. But that's the nearest that Bob got to that game because, as he reminded me yesterday, he played in all the rounds up to the final, but then sat on the bench for the Wembley game itself. I bet he's hoping to get to Wembley again as a manager this time.